It's time for breaking bread with Papa. Hey, don't you know? Hey, it's sourdough. Hey, it's time for breaking bread with Papa. Hey, don't you know? Hey, it's also a show.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Breaking Bread with Tom Papa. I'm Tom Papa. Oh, we have a good one for you today. My good pal, the hilarious Ryan Hamilton. I got to sit down with him when I was back in New York in the beginning of my 3-week run around the country. And we met up at the Comedy Cellar, at the podcast studio, and had a great time. I'm really excited for you to hear this. This is not only is he a dear friend and super funny, but he also has an amazing story to tell, and about a little thing that happened to him along the comedy way last January. I'm not going to ruin it. I'm going to let you figure it out. I'm going to let you listen. Just know that there is a deep, great story that Ryan will share with you. I just got back. I literally just got off a plane. I was in New York and New Jersey. As I said, I was taking some time trying to sneak off to the beach, and I did my sister's wedding, which was really great. And then I went to another wedding of a good friend of ours, and that was really fun. And we got to spend a lot of good time at the Jersey Shore. I continued my hot dog rage. I think I'm up to 16 for the summer, which is a pretty good number, and we're not even there yet. So I'm on a good pace, I would say, a strong and mighty pace in the hot dog world. I hope you're doing well. I was just sitting on this plane for 6 hours, all smooth, all nice, all good. I guess my advice would be to you, don't eat fish on a plane. Don't eat fish on a plane. Even if you're sitting in the fancy seats, as I was. Even if you are presented with it in a nice little menu booklet, which I was. Even if it says nice writing, sea bass of some sort that is well phrased and seems to be enticing, don't go for it. Just remember, you're still on a plane. And I'd say don't eat the fish on the plane. That's my advice. Because I don't feel that great. It's not, we're not at emergency levels. I just ran in and made sure that I got this nice podcast started and all sewn up. I don't know what the future holds. And by the future, I mean the near future. But I would say whether or not this turns into a real event or not, I can say with confidence, don't eat the fish on the plane. The only other bad move you can make is eating tuna fish at the airport. That's also not a great move. Keep the fish out of the airports. I could have gone short rib. I know. But again, I'm not at a barbecue joint. And I knew enough. Like, short rib, that's not going to be great. Let me get the fish, says I. Oh, it's been a long vacation. All right. Enough of this. I have a great interview for you with the great Ryan Hamilton. He's a dear friend. We had a great time doing a show in San Diego, and we co-headlined a show together. We just felt like it would be really fun to both stretch out and do long sets with each other and combine our audiences. And it was a great night and a lot of fun, and we're going to do a lot more of them. If you haven't checked out his Netflix special, you definitely should. You should definitely know who Ryan Hamilton is. It's a no-brainer. He's one of the best working comedians out there. Super funny. And this conversation is great, and it means a lot to me because he's, like I said, a dear friend, and what he went through is no small thing. So let's get right to it. Enjoy my conversation with the great Ryan Hamilton. Ryan, it's so good to see you.
It's good to see you too, Tom.
I hope I'm getting enough credit for coming all the way to New York to do this with you.
I would like to think that you came all the way to New York to do this with me, but I just don't believe that.
It is the truth.
Is it?
Well, I had some other things to do, but
there we go.
I tied it into it.
Okay. Well, that makes me feel good.
Right?
I was tied into something that Tom had to do. Makes me feel good.
And I of course, because I'm on the road, wasn't able to bake you bread,
Right, of course.
which I've apologized for, but I found this beautiful French bakery.
I've been eating it nervously.
Yeah, so I've gotten you a plain croissant and then a blueberry croissant, which is the
man.
one you seem to have attacked because it looks like a crime scene.
Yeah.
And then a chocolate croissant.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I haven't shared any of this. Would you like some?
No, I was wondering when you were going to ask that.
I didn't
You
know
just-
why
you
there were
just-
3 on my side just sitting here. I thought it
They're
was
all for you.
I thought it was some sort of test or something like which one is he going to eat? What does it mean? We're going to really dissect this.
We're going to analyze it. Okay, so you went for the blueberry croissant. How was it? I have to say, I've never had a blueberry croissant.
I hadn't either. It's really good. I love blueberries. I just got lucky. I didn't know what was in there. I thought it was maybe chocolate.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. And then blueberries squirted out.
I would give you some, but it's not appealing
No,
anymore.
I think you just, as we go through I know you're not a huge fan of podcasts. You
Yeah.
you're a very private fellow.
Yeah.
You don't like the podcasts that dig deep and start probing your life and your choices and stuff like that. So
I want to leave right
so
now.
you might you might get nervous and need all 3 croissants by the end of it. So we haven't seen each other since San Diego.
Yeah, I guess so.
That was fun.
That was so fun.
Ryan and I went to San Diego to Humphreys,
Yeah.
which, by the way, I thought we were just doing like this strange place that no one ever heard of, and it turns out to be a pretty historic venue.
I didn't realize that either.
Yeah.
The photos were like all sorts of people. George Carlin was there a bunch.
15 times.
Wow.
Which I was thinking later on, that means 15 years,
Right.
right? He's
yeah.
not like, they're not counting every time he went up on stage. It's
Right.
like he went and would do those shows, and
Yeah.
it was this outdoor venue. It's called Humphreys, and it's right next to this marina. It looks like everything that you would, if you were to design a space and make it wrong for comedy,
Right.
you'd be like, all right, let's put it outside. Let's have a fountain next to it. Let's have boats with people on kayaks on the other side, a hotel room at the back wall where people could just open up their hotel room doors and wander out onto the balcony. And yet, perfect.
Perfect. It was so fun. Such a special night. It felt special.
It did. It really did.
Mm-hmm.
And I think performance-wise, I think it's because the sound system's so great.
Yeah, it must be because you can't tell that you're outside when you're on stage.
Yeah. And they're kind of like packed in. It was like
Yeah.
1,000 people, but it was all like packed in.
Yes.
So you felt them. It wasn't like
Yeah.
those outdoor shows where it just kind of goes and you never
Right.
connect with them. This one you really did.
Yeah.
It was really great. The only hitch, I think, and we should do more shows together because
I would love that.
our audiences definitely sync up.
Yeah.
The host who was great, I forget his name.
Me too.
Oh.
He was great.
He was great.
Yeah.
Well, I'll look up his.
Will,
I'll look up his name.
Will. Yeah.
Willie Thornton. No.
How?
Hal Linden. Hal. He was so good. I'm gonna look him up.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything wrong with using your phone when you have to.
No. Yeah.
He was great, but the only thing, and we didn't, and this was our fault. We'll blame our agent. It was his fault. They made it seem like I was the headliner, which is a tricky thing when we have 2 headliners on a show.
Yeah, yeah.
When he was like, and now the man you've come to see.
Yeah,
After
yeah.
you did your set.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? It's like, how do you make it equal billing? One of us has to go first. One of us
Right.
has to go last. It should be, the opener should be told, when you go out there, your set, you say, holy cow, we have 2 headliners. We flipped a coin and this guy's going first. Really,
Oh.
like it needs that kind of a thing.
I guess so. Yeah, I think the audience just had a great time, and that's the point. And
Look, I love that he leaned into it and made it seem like I was the most special one. But
well, in his defense, it's like, how often do you have this co-headlining thing? Like, it's very rare that you're hosting a show.
Mal Hall.
Mal Hall. We got like half of it twice or something.
Yeah, we said Hal Linden
Yeah.
and Monty
Will.
Hall. We had a lot of L's in our guesses. Mal Hall, who's very funny.
He was great.
And yeah, the audience loved him. And he opens for like Joe Coy.
Yeah.
And
I don't remember.
Angela Johnson.
Oh,
He
right.
tours with her.
Okay.
Real solid act. And then we got to go to this great dinner afterwards. So we had this great
Yes.
set. You killed. I went too long. I did too much time. I lost my way.
You get to do that when you're last.
Yeah, you get to do that when you're the big time headliner.
Right.
And your mom was there, which was so great. So then we have this great dinner,
Yes.
which was so perfect.
Oh
It was
my
the perfect
gosh.
place in one of those banquet, one of those like booths that's like a half moon.
Yeah.
We all get to like go in like old
Yes.
school. There was a band playing in the background, and this was off property. And we were there with my wife and your mother and
Yeah.
our agent Doug and his wife
Yeah.
and such great conversation and
Yes.
great food. It was
Yes.
so perfect.
Oh.
It really felt like, and this is the credit for Doug, was that he orchestrated it and put the whole
Yeah.
thing together. He nailed it.
Doug is our agent now, our
Yeah.
mutual agent.
Our mutual agent.
Yes.
Yeah.
And-
Even though he didn't tell Mal to say that we're equal.
Well,
Not
yeah.
that it was a big deal, but I just think that performance-wise, it was just a thing I thought about the next day.
Yeah. It was great. I loved the dinner. I loved having my mom there. I loved my mom being able to meet you guys.
She's very funny.
Yeah, my mom's great.
Yeah.
There was a funny thing that happened. I didn't see it, but we didn't meet people after the show or anything. But I pointed out my mom in the audience during the show,
During the show, yeah.
so everybody knew who she was.
Yeah.
Because I had mentioned, I have jokes mentioning, her and this whole thing I went through recently, and a bunch of people took pictures with my mom after the show.
Oh, really?
So they found my mom.
That's
and we're
great.
taking pictures. Like, if we don't get to take pictures with Ryan, and my mom's so sweet, I'm sure she's just like, okay, I'll take a picture.
She was a celebrity.
Yeah.
What'd you do the next morning?
What did we do the next morning? I just took off.
Yeah.
My mom stayed in California. And I have a bunch of family and friends there
Right.
who were also at the show. So my mom spent some time
Oh, okay.
there.
That's good.
Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah, because we were literally in the room right next door.
I know.
But it felt awkward to like knock at 10 in the morning and be like, I'm leaving now.
The rooms were funny. The rooms were like, you walked out on the balcony and you're in the venue. I'd never felt.
You open the blinds and to these sliding glass doors, and the sound guy was there,
Yeah, you're like.
setting up and drinking beer.
Very
My wife was like, "Shut that! I'm changing." I'm like, "There's the sound guy, most important part of the show." The San Diego, you got a little slice of the San Diego lifestyle, though. Like
do you
those, like the. I'm always like, I don't really understand that town too well.
I never do either.
It's got, it's got a skyscrapery,
Yeah.
a mini skyscrapery
Mhm.
downtown with the big streets and the hard sidewalks.
Yeah.
But then it's got boats everywhere.
Yeah.
Then it's got these beaches and little Mission Bay and all these different like
Yeah.
vacation spots. And the air is beautiful. The weather
Yes.
is perfect. It's like like God just set the thermostat at 72 and left it. And then, but it's like this, it's like a spread out, like, it's hard for me to navigate the city with the beach, with the,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
It's hard to define. Everybody thinks it's just like a beach town, but there's a lot more going on.
Yeah,
It's also like a college party town.
right.
There's like a big bar scene and stuff. It
Yes, that
feels
annoying
like,
downtown
yeah,
part.
the downtown part that seems like it would be quaint, and it's like you go down there and you're like, oh, I have to leave immediately.
Why does every city have those, right? Like Austin has it,
Yeah.
Nashville has it,
Yeah,
New Orleans, of course, has it. Every place has
I guess so.
their dumb street.
Yeah,
Their dumb street filled with throw up.
it's true.
And I guess when you're that age, it's kind of fun to do. But the thing about San Diego that I came away with was that it, regardless of if you're hustling and working in the hard business part of it, or you're kayaking around, or you're surfing.
Right.
Everybody does have that kind of chill surfer vibe.
Right.
Even the dialed in hustlers, everybody's still the sunshine and them just knowing what a great place they live in.
Yeah.
Everybody's just chill.
It is.
Yeah.
It's a different vibe than LA even, right?
Yeah.
I mean, LA has kind of got that, but this is like 2 hours away and feels like a world away mentally.
Completely. I think the closest you get in LA is like Malibu.
Right.
Even like Santa Monica is still like you're feeling the traffic in the city and the anger. But in San Diego, like you could make a left-hand turn in under an hour.
That's a great point. That's a great lifestyle.
Yeah.
When you can make left-hand
Oh my-
turns,
oh.
or you can make left-hand turns. You're in a nice, comfortable town.
Anytime I'm on the road, I was in Vermont and I was making left turns all day. I was like, what a great place to live.
Just the freedom to turn left.
Yeah, like knowing that going to CVS and back is not going to like take years off my life.
I know.
So here's a question for you, though. In the constant analyzing these places, I'm a New Yorker.
Yeah.
I come from here. I lived here forever. Grew up across the river. And whenever I toy with the idea of coming back, my kids are going to be moving on. And, we're going to be back to being able to do whatever we want. And while I'll maintain LA for sure, because it's our family home and stuff, we always toy with coming back because we love New York so much. When you pop out of it, and you did like during the pandemic and stuff, and then I come back, the thing that I notice most is that people are a little angry.
In New York?
Yeah, like the New York metropolitan area, people are just a little pissed off.
Yeah.
Do you see that?
Yeah, I think it's a little worse than it used to be, maybe, in my opinion.
Oh, maybe. You mean after the
I
punch
think
in the nose from the pandemic?
Yeah, I think it's changed things just a little bit, turned the dial up just a bit.
Yeah.
And
Probably the pandemic probably turned up whatever issues any place had.
right,
Like in LA, like people are driving like it's Mad Max.
right,
Right? They're like freaked,
Yes.
which was always bad, and now it's like
right,
worse.
right.
And and the country was always violent, and now there's a lot of shootings. And in New York,
Right.
this area, people were just a little cranky, and now they're really cranky.
Right. Yeah. Just whatever you are, just amplified it a bit.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
The negative stuff we got. But yeah, I notice it a bit. Like I don't take the subway at night anymore, late at night.
Right.
And I used to not think about it.
Yeah, I know. When we were first knocking around here, it really was a golden age.
Yeah.
Because when I first started coming in, it was closer to what this is.
Yeah.
Like you couldn't leave when I was moving into my apartment, you wouldn't leave your car with all your stuff in it and walk the boxes into the house and into the apartment and back.
Right.
You would pick up a box, walk it in, and by the time you came back, everything in your car would be stolen. Like that's the way Manhattan was. Like that was New York.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
it was rough.
Right.
And now it's back to that.
Yeah.
And you didn't take the subway. And then we went through this golden age where
Yeah.
young girls were just jumping on the subway
Right.
and leaving the village at
Yeah.
3 a.m.
Yeah.
Not even thinking about it.
Yep.
It was just like this very
Yeah.
safe kind of thing. All right, let me ask you this. This is a question that, as you're part of the mayor's office, when you walk around, one of the big things that you see is mentally ill people with no clothes on in doorways, congregating in outside the subways, in the parks. Like you see a lot of people that are really reeling. What has changed? Like what did they shut down? Did they shut down facilities? Did they stop helping people? Like why are they out there helpless all over the place?
I don't know. I don't really know what happened. I was gone for most of this, but I think there was a period where, there weren't a lot of people around, and a lot of those people depended on people being around. And so they became more desperate and more dire position than they've ever been before, and that pushed them to do other things. But I don't know why it feels that way, but it does. I don't
It
know.
does. It almost looks like, and I really am searching for the answer while I'm here. Which is why I wanted you to come in from the mayor's office. But it really is like, it looks like there was a big facility that took care of mentally ill people, and that it closed its doors and sent everyone out on the street.
Yeah.
Like, it has that feeling. Like,
Right.
there has to be something in the system that was there before that is no longer.
But I would say, I feel like this is happening all over the country. I don't think it's unique to New York. Everywhere I go, it seems like it's up. Like San Francisco seems a little bit
Yes, that's true.
worse than it used to be.
Tent cities and
Yeah, it seems like even LA seems a little, I don't know.
maybe the city's budgets got messed up and they just had to stop
Yeah.
certain services.
I don't know.
Nicole, do you know?
I have no idea.
All right.
I saw a guy get pushed onto the subway tracks, I think.
You did?
Yeah.
What do you mean you think?
Well,
because you turned away and ran?
Well, there was a guy that was like, he looked like he was from out of town or something. And he was with his wife, and he was, and this other guy who, was on something. He wasn't being super threatening or anything, but it was just like a guy, just keep your distance.
Yeah.
And he kind of got between the subway tracks and this guy just didn't give him any distance.
The guy from out of town didn't back off.
Yeah, and I was like kind of watching this out of the corner of my eye while I'm waiting for the train, and I'm just thinking, just move.
Right.
And I can see this kind of escalating.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
neither of them are going to give up ground.
Uh-huh.
And I think he just kind of nudged him, and also I think maybe the guy wanted to be nudged. I don't know
Right.
exactly what happened, but I'm pretty sure he got pushed. And then
Which guy got pushed?
the guy who was kind of crazy.
Uh-huh.
But I think
he got pushed by the guy?
yeah, and he fell into the subway tracks, and he was just down there. And then I could see the guy, and then it was a scene, like 30 people are around.
Yeah.
And the guy was nervous, I saw.
Uh-huh.
And then
The guy who pushed him was nervous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but he stayed, and then everybody's like getting him out, and there was some MTA people up the tracks, and people are like, get him out, help him out. And they came like 20 feet away, and they just turned and walked away.
No.
I don't know if like they have a policy or what. So I was like, well, if there's MTA people in the tracks, there's not a train coming, maybe.
Yeah.
And I'd come from the other side of the tracks, so there was like 10 people between me and, but they pulled him out, and he had a gash in his head, and his blood coming down his face, and everybody left, like gone.
Right.
As soon as he was on the platform, everybody.
Right.
The guy, I have no idea where, it was like,
Whoa.
and while he was in the track, there was like phones came out, like 4 phones. These kids were like videoing.
Right.
And this guy had 4 bongo drums strapped. It was just such a New York moment. He had
Yeah.
4 bongo drums strapped around his body, and he's getting angry. He's like, "Why are you videoing? Why don't you help? Why don't you put your phones away and help?" And one of the kids just turned at him and just goes, "Why don't you help?" And he goes, "I got these bongo drums." I was like, what is happening? This is crazy.
I got my bongos, man.
Yeah.
I can't put the bongos down.
Yeah.
The first rule you have with bongos, don't put them down on the subway.
And then everybody left. It was just me and him. Just me and him. And I'm like,
You and the crazy guy?
yeah. And I go, and he's kind of sitting up and walking towards me. And I go, I'm going to call 911. He goes, don't call him. I don't want him. I don't want him here. I go, you have a massive cut on your head. I don't know if you know. We need to get it taken care of. He's like, don't call him. I want some money. And I'm like on the phone, walking away from him.
I want some money?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
And I go, if you stay here, I will give you some money if you just wait until the cops show
Oh,
up.
smart.
And then the cops were fast. And they were like, this guy, I had to tase this guy 3 days ago.
Really?
Yeah. I said, I think he got pushed. And he's like, do you know? And I was like, he's like, he didn't get pushed. And I was like, really? Okay. Anyway, it was kind of crazy. And then,
That meant if you know,
yeah,
if you
guess.
say that, then I'm going to have to write it up.
Oh, I
We're
don't
gonna-
know what it meant. I think he just thought I've dealt with this guy before. And
Oh.
and and he's like,
Well, maybe, because you didn't see him push him.
yeah.
And a guy from out of town, that's a pretty aggressive move.
Yeah, I guess I shouldn't, like, assume but
He might have jumped it.
I don't know. I should amend this story, but
You should get a taser. I think that's the moral of the story, or just take Uber. That's
anyway, yeah.
But that's happening a lot. That
Yeah.
kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Jeez Louise.
Anyway, I just went off on a thing, but that I mean, after that, I stopped taking the subway at night.
But what you said earlier, that's like the key that people don't understand when you knew as a New Yorker, give that guy space.
Yeah.
Don't stay there. Don't stand your ground. Walk away.
Right.
Take your wife and go. That kind of thing is like all those things are important. My wife's friend was walking up the street in Manhattan a couple weeks ago, and they're walking and they see a mentally ill guy coming the other way, and the one white woman said with her kid and is like, maybe we should cross the street, and the New Yorker was like, no, this, it's fine, we do this all the time, and decided just pass him as he's going the opposite direction. And the guy walks up and just punched the woman in the face.
Oh my.
Yeah. So I totally get what that New Yorker was saying. Like,
Right.
we're fine.
Yeah.
That was the modus operandi. It was
Right.
We're fine.
Right.
We see this stuff. We know how to manage it.
Right.
The rules aren't the same.
Right.
They've
Right.
changed slightly.
Right.
And you've got to treat it differently.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah, so it's upsetting for sure.
Yeah.
But I think now that you're elected, I think that we're putting our faith in you and hoping that you're going to restore everything.
Well, we're looking forward to having you back in the city, Tom.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's like, I don't know. It's not like real estate's gone down. I poke around. It's
Yeah.
still like to still participate in this madness.
It's crazy.
Is so much crazier than any other place you could do.
I know.
You
It's
know?
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's wild. I don't know. I mean, I got into my place and it's just sat there, and I wasn't even there for like 2 years basically, and then I was home after this accident for a while, and it's like I'm just feeling like I'm getting back into my New York life.
Yeah, you do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your set was so funny. I mean, I knew that you had stuff from the accident,
Oh.
but I didn't realize how, I even saw more of it when we worked together.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and that you can kind of come back to it, back and forth, is so funny.
Oh, thanks.
Ryan was hit by a bus.
Yeah, I guess we should just say it's like a thing I have to talk about. I feel like every conversation, it's like kind of hanging over it.
Well, I wouldn't bring it up if you didn't talk about so funny in your act.
Oh,
I mean,
thanks.
people are going to see all the details. I don't want to
Right.
go into the details of it.
Right.
But just as a headline, Ryan Hamilton was walking across the street and got hit by a bus.
Yeah.
And it interrupted part of your year last year.
Oh man. Yeah.
Where are we? It's July,
6 months. Yeah.
so 6 months ago.
Mm-hmm. A little over 6 months.
Which, by the way, for being hit by a bus, that you're back and doing shows and all that stuff, that's pretty remarkable.
It seems like a crazy. I can't even. This last year has just been year and a half has been really wild. I mean, it has been for everybody, but it just feels really crazy.
No, but I mean, it's been crazy for everybody in this
Mhm.
macro sense, but then you had big events within that,
Right.
with people in your family passing, and then and then having them say that I was the headliner, and then being hit by the bus. These things are big.
They're all very traumatic.
There is a thing, isn't there? And this is the screwed up part of life. You can manage and you can do stuff and you can overcome things. And then every once in a while, the tsunami hits you.
Yes.
And those things are bigger than we are.
Yes.
And you just have to kind of ride it out. It's like being a kid knocked around in the surf.
Yes.
And you're just blah, 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 blah.
Yes.
You're in a dishwasher.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh wait, I'm still maintaining. I'm still gonna
Yes.
but I don't know where the sky is and where the ground
Yes.
is and what's happening right now.
Right.
It's some of those moments which we all have to go through. Those are the big ones.
It's a good analogy.
Yeah.
I mean, I say in the act, everybody said you're so lucky, And I really had to wrestle with that. I just didn't feel lucky. You know? I wasn't sitting in front of that bus going, I'm on a hot streak. That's what I say, you know? It's like, that wasn't
killing
on
it right
Yeah,
now.
that wasn't on my vision board. I don't know who gets hit by a bus and is like, you know, I'm a lucky devil. But
Look at me as you're flying through the air. Look at me. I'm king of the world.
but that's really something I had to wrestle with because
Yeah.
it was like, well, you saw me at that time.
I
and
saw you a couple weeks after.
Yeah, and
I went to find you in Santa Monica.
yeah.
Because I was talking to you all the way up to it.
Mm-hmm.
Because you were stuck in a hotel in L.A. because of a positive COVID test.
Right.
And I lived there, and I kept trying to get you to come over for Christmas, and I was just like, let's hang out. And you're like, I'm not allowed to. And I'm like, COVID schmovid. And then all of a sudden it went silent.
Yeah.
And I was like, what happened? Where are you? And then I found out. And then I came down. What was crazy is that you were out of the hospital quick.
I was there 5 days.
Just 5 days.
Yeah, well, they wanted me out fast. It was like Omicron was going on, and the
Right.
hospital was full.
Did you call it Omicron?
What is it, Omnicron?
I think it's Omicron.
Omicron?
Omicron.
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 Omic.
I don't think it's Omicron.
It's spelled
Nicole, Omicron sounds like something fun, right?
A little bit. It kind of sounds like a transformer or something.
Yeah. Look out for Omicron.
Isn't it spelled O-M-N?
O-M-I.
O-M-N-I, right?
No.
Just O-M-I?
Omicron.
Omicron.
Yeah.
Oh, I've been saying.
And that was the first one. That was the first one. Now we're on the 17th one.
Yeah.
Now it's
Yeah.
like R2D2 Omicron.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, I've been saying it wrong for like a year.
So they wanted to get you out of there. They needed the space. They needed you not to
That's
get
what
sick.
it felt like.
Yeah.
But they also don't want you to stay in the hospital longer than you need to. It's not good for the patient, you know.
No.
So
You get infections and weird
yeah.
shit happens in the
Yeah,
hospital.
but I didn't feel ready to go when I left. I was kind of like advocating, like I need another. Like my bowels, it's kind of like too much detail, but my bowels had shut down
Right.
from the drugs that I'd taken for a day, and just like they wouldn't start back again.
Oh man.
And I was like, I can't leave right now. I'm gonna be
Yeah.
back here tomorrow.
Maybe that is part of the thing that we're feeling in New York is that they don't want people in the hospitals and they
Yeah.
all got sent out.
Oh, maybe.
Right? Think
Yeah,
about that.
yeah.
When they were overloaded and
Mhm.
like whatever department like helps
Yeah.
these kind of people, we can't
Mhm.
deal with that right now.
Mhm.
It's got to be part of it.
Yeah, sure. Every kind of service is strained to the max.
Yeah.
Public service, or yeah.
But I will say the people that are out on the streets of Manhattan, very healthy bowels. Working at full force.
There's,
Careful where you step.
I know it's a hard thing to talk about, but it was really like one of the most miserable things I've ever experienced. And
Oh, yeah, it's
it was
gotta be.
terrible.
It's
Terrible.
gotta be.
Yeah.
Skipping
But-
a day just ruins your whole
Yeah.
outlook on
I
life.
think it was 7 days.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and I was in the hospital for 5, so it was like,
Were you like, let's just get some buffalo wings or some tabbouleh? Let's go to the old standbys.
I couldn't eat anything.
Nothing.
I was like, I would eat the tiniest bit of food, and I would just be so nauseous. Like, I
Jeez.
felt like there was a board through the middle of my body. It was just
You were
like,
just filling up.
yeah, it was
Oh.
crazy.
And
was
I'm
terrible.
sorry to be graphic about it, but
Yeah.
when the gates opened, was it like instant relief or was it just slow coming?
Well,
Like, was there ever a moment where it was like,
no, it was like slow. And
Yeah.
it was like, please, please, please.
and then a goat marble?
Yeah. And it just, yeah, it's a weird thing. But
It's a
yeah.
weird thing when that's going on and they're like,
Yeah.
and you have to go.
Right, and you have to leave right now.
Yeah.
Because your arm looks fine. The surgery we did looks fine. So you got to go. They
That
kept-
was crazy too.
Yeah.
Was that you broke your arm
Yeah.
and this is modern medicine, no cast.
Yeah.
You just had like a little Band-Aid on it, and you were like walking with me through Santa Monica 5 days after being hit by a bus.
That was crazy. Well, they put a titanium plate in there, and I guess after they do that, they're like, there's no cast or anything. It's just
Yeah.
like the plate is drilled into your bone. It's going to hold. It's going to be fine. So
God,
it's just like
what a wonder.
I had a a wound. It's,
Yeah.
You know, but that's all I had to protect. Really,
Yeah.
it's strange.
And we just went for a walk
We went for walks. Yes.
and just walked along the promenade there at Santa
Yeah.
Monica, overlooking the ocean.
Yeah.
And it was like you had to. It was like, this is a perfect day. Oh, except my friend's been hit by a bus.
Yeah, it was so strange. I mean, I couldn't travel because I had a punctured lung, so
Yeah.
and I couldn't travel anyway. I could hardly move, but I could walk, and that was about it. I couldn't lay down, and so my mom and I got a hotel in Santa Monica,
Yeah.
and just hung out and there for like 5-6 weeks, something like that.
Did you get angry? Because I remember when Stephen King, he used to walk through Maine and on the roads, like he would take his
Oh,
daily
really?
walks and stuff, and he got hit by somebody hit him.
Oh,
with
really?
a car, yeah. And he was so angry because his life was together. He felt physically like, I'm doing it, and the interruption of it really, excuse me, turned into rage for a point.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was like waves of it. Did you ever have that?
Yeah, I got angry.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't know where to direct my anger, but I was just like, this is not ending. I was just getting back into my life.
Yeah.
And then I had to start my life over again, and it was difficult, and
Yeah.
I was scared because I didn't know how things were going to heal. There was a lot of questions about all these ribs, if they were going to heal in a way that caused me just prolonged pain. If my life is traveling, I didn't know if I'd be able to travel. My lung was healing, but it was like I was gasping for air all the time, and I was like, am I just going to have to gasp on stage? There was all these
Yeah.
questions that were just. I don't know what my life's going to be like when this is done.
Yeah.
And that made me angry and scared.
Yeah.
And yeah. My mom dealt with a lot of that.
Right.
But, she's so calming, and she's been through so much, and she helped me a lot to, like, just focus on right now in the present. And, like,
Yeah. She's
and-
a great person to have in your corner.
yeah. But what I learned is that you can't really be, grateful for a tragedy. Like, people go, you're so lucky. It could have been so much. And yes, it's like everybody said, it's remarkable. There's no head trauma, all this stuff, which I understand is great. But the thing to focus your gratitude on and try to dismiss your anger from is like that you have all these tools and all these resources and the people around you to take care of it. Like, I
Yeah.
had health insurance. I had enough money that even though I had to go do these extra appointments, I just thought I'll just pay for it if my insurance doesn't cover it, because they
Right.
were like battling me on some of this out-of-network stuff. So it was like I had everything. I had really good doctors.
Yeah.
It was like I started to really try to focus on those things
Smart.
because, what could have been so much worse is I didn't have those tools, and that would have been,
You see why people get wiped out.
Yeah.
You see why people
Totally.
just get completely wiped out from
Totally.
an illness.
Totally. I mean, I thought about that so much. It's like, yes, I'm glad I have health insurance, but even with health insurance, this is not cheap,
No.
I have to, like, I was able to just put myself up in a nice hotel for like a month and a half.
Yeah.
And that's
Right,
a
exactly.
huge expense. And it's like all those things, I was just able to do what I needed to do to be comfortable while I
Yeah.
was doing this. And I had people to help me. And
Gratitude is a powerful thing.
Oh, man.
I was listening to someone who was talking about that, like the thing that gratitude is the thing that dispels resentment.
Mm-hmm.
When you're resentful of other people and what they have and what they're doing, and you're resentful for what you haven't achieved, the only way to dispel that is with gratitude.
Yeah.
Actually taking a deep breath and appreciating the stuff that you do have.
Right.
And then you kind of levels it all out, and it really diffuses those bitter feelings.
Right.
Gratitude is powerful.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's hard to see, though, when you get hit by a bus.
Yeah.
But I guess you're lucky is not that you're hit by a bus. What they're really saying is you're lucky you're alive,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, what a blessing you got hit by
Yeah.
a bus. But they're actually saying, this is the other thing. It's always them. It's not really about you. It's
Right.
about them.
Sure.
So when someone says, oh, you're so lucky, what they're saying is, I'm lucky that my friend didn't die.
Right. Yeah. I know.
That's really what they're saying.
Right, which is, if you're listening, it's like it's a kind thing to say. It's just hard to hear
Yeah.
because you're like, man, I feel like the unluckiest person right now.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
It's just so hard to hear.
Okay, so let me ask you this, because Ryan Hamilton is, everyone will say, is one of the nicest people in comedy. Everybody loves the lovable, joyous, good-natured Ryan Hamilton. So when Ryan Hamilton gets angry, and he's having his moments of being angry, how does that come out? Does Ryan Hamilton just kind of frown for a second, or does he throw his lunch against the wall?
That's a good question. I mean, no, I don't like. What do I do?
Do you
I
lash
don't
out,
know.
or you just get quiet?
I kind of get quiet, I think.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I do it alone, you know?
Yeah,
I'll kind of yell alone or something.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's
and
good.
My therapist is always saying, anger is good. You know, it's an emotion you got to get out, and it's okay. So I try to remember that, and I try to express my anger when it's there.
Right.
But not in a harmful way. But
Right.
it's mostly comes out alone, I think, because I'm scared of,
Yeah.
But my mom heard me a lot, I think. And because just in the middle of the night, I couldn't sleep.
Well, oh my God.
And I would turn and toss, and I'd be in pain, and I would take drugs, and it wouldn't work, and then I would just be like, I'm sure I made all sorts of crazy noises. My mom's in the next room.
Yeah.
She would wake up and be like, "Is everything okay?" I'm like, "I'm sorry, I'm fine. Everything's fine."
It was a couple, I guess, like a month after you broke pretty much all your ribs.
Yeah, 10 of them.
10 of them, and we've got
12
of them.
Yeah.
And then I was in, where was I? Oh, I was in Fargo, North Dakota, in winter.
I remember this.
And I slipped on the ice. I slipped and went down, and I went down hard and fast. And I broke a rib. I could just feel like it was no more than one.
Yeah.
It was one rib. And I'm telling you, it messed up my life for a good 2 months. And I called you, and I'm like, look, I'm suffering too. I totally know what you're going through. But in the reality, I was being funny, but of course, but the reality was like, because I was having trouble sleeping because I couldn't turn on that side.
Yeah.
And you had all of them.
Yeah.
You had no sides left.
Yeah. Well, it was all on one side, but 5 of them were broken in 2 places. But it was like, it was weird. I know ribs are like some of the most painful things people say to break, but I had so much going on that it was just like, I couldn't really tell where the pain was for a long time.
How did you sleep, though? How did you sleep?
I didn't sleep well for a long time.
Yeah.
But I just had to. We tried all sorts of different contraptions. I'd get on the floor with pillows behind me. We'd get like this perfect situation where I could just prop myself, and I would stay there for a couple hours, and I'd have to move.
Jeez.
Yeah, it was terrible.
God.
The hospital bed really
That's
works, but you can't get that at home. Like,
You're right.
where they can detail every part of your
Right,
sitting situation.
Like a scarecrow.
Yeah.
Oh my
But
God.
getting home, it was hard to sleep. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
hard. But
Jeez.
that eventually got better and better. And it was weird because the pain would just kind of slowly get more specific over time.
Mm-hmm.
And I would start to be like, oh, this is a trouble spot because this is not going away.
Right.
And it was so weird because I was like, eventually I'm like, okay, there's like 3 things left.
Right. Yeah.
And
yeah.
I kind of would get worried. I'd be like, that one's going to stick around.
Yeah.
And there's
Have
this
any?
one spot in the top of my back up here
Uh-huh.
that still hurts occasionally, and my arm is stiff sometimes.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
it's like I don't think about the pain as
Right.
really very often.
Right.
Yeah.
And traveling's okay?
Yeah, it's a little weirder, but
Is it weird like on the air pressure or anything like that?
sometimes on the plane, I'm like, I can't tell if this is just because I've been hauling my luggage around or I'm on the plane or what. But yeah, the top of my back will start to hurt again.
Well, if it's any consolation, I feel that right now.
Yeah,
I just
exactly.
flew in
Yeah.
and I'm just like
we're
I need
all-
a massage.
Yeah, I think it's
I
just
think-
a lot of it normal.
I think you should be allowed to get massaged. Do you get massages?
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah.
It's
I think
nice.
I think you should get those a lot.
Yeah, I think we should. Actually, when I was doing physical therapy, that was the thing that helped me the most was this. And they would say, like, you should just keep doing this.
Yeah.
The massage therapy is the thing that helped. You can do everything else yourself, but you can't do that.
No, and you really need. It's not
Right.
like it's not. I would always feel like kind of like I don't know, kind of like a I always picture my father like when I'm looking at like a spa menu.
Yeah.
I just picture my father like a big tough guy from a different generation being like, "Are you kidding me?"
I know it feels.
But you know what? We need it.
Yeah.
That's why he was
Yes.
angry because he didn't get too many massages.
Well, it's like in this spa setting with all this stuff surrounded, but really it's just like a healthy medical
Right,
thing
exactly.
that you need. It
Yeah,
doesn't-
God forbid we take care of ourselves.
Yeah, yeah.
But God forbid somebody actually works out a physical defect in your shoulders
Yeah.
that will make your next month okay when you're traveling around.
Yeah.
I'm glad you could breathe on the plane. I was next to somebody that had one of those French bulldogs.
Oh yeah.
And it was an actor. You know the guy from did you watch Top Gun? Did you see Maverick?
The new one, yeah.
The new one?
Mhm.
You know the rooster is the kid with the mustache who was in the drumming movie?
Miles Teller?
Yeah.
Oh,
That
wow.
guy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he was in the
I like him.
We were in a little plane. Yeah, he's great.
Yeah.
And he was on the plane and his little French bulldog was having trouble breathing. They were bringing out like a
Wow.
little oxygen thing and getting him to breathe. And
Wow.
those dogs aren't great on land.
No.
And you throw them up in the air and take all the air pressure away. It's like, what are you doing? Do I really have to go to Tahoe? So you don't want to be that guy.
No. Fortunately, I think my lung capacity is slightly inhibited, but I'm not like a athlete, so it's like I don't notice it that much.
It hasn't screwed up your triathlons.
I swim laps sometimes, and I'm like, I don't know if it's just me getting back or if my lungs, but I don't know.
I could see you there with your coffee, deciding in the apartment, should I go swim today? I was hit by a bus. I can't really. My lungs don't live. I did the Peloton yesterday, and
Yeah.
yesterday I'll do a little humble brag. I hit a 3-year streak, 156-week streak, which means I've used the Peloton at least once a week for 156
Wow.
weeks.
Good job.
Which is pretty much right as the pandemic started.
right.
Like a little before.
Yeah.
And then when the pandemic hit, I was just like, oh, exercise is going to stop me from going crazy.
Yeah.
So I just kept going,
Yep.
and then the streak became very enticing.
Yeah.
So then it kept me in it.
That's
and yesterday I hit 3 years.
Wow.
And I know I should be in better shape. But the Matt Wilpers is the coach that I like on it, and he's like, I just did a mini triathlon or a half triathlon. I don't know what they call it. I was too angry because he was like, 1.5-mile swim and a
Oh, wow.
56-mile bike ride
Oh, my
and a 12-mile run.
oh my.
That's like the mini
gosh.
version.
Wow.
The half marathon,
Wow.
the half triathlon.
Oh my god.
And I'm there like doing 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Excited I'm hitting my 3-year
Yeah.
thing on the bike.
Isn't it amazing? The body's amazing. What people
Amazing.
can do.
Yeah.
Like, if you really focus with discipline, it's like amazing. Even later in life, I'm learning. I mean, it's like I'm middle aged, but it's like going through all that physical therapy. Your body reacts, and it
Yeah.
build muscle. It's like you get. People said after I came back a lot, you look better, which really threw me. Like I'm like,
Yeah.
what happened that I got hit by a bus, which was an improvement. But I was so diligent with my physical therapy. I think it improved. Like, I think my posture's a little better than I used to be. I built some
Right.
muscles. And
Yeah.
they teach you about this stuff, like in physical therapy. I was like, everybody should just go to physical therapy without an accident because they look at your body. I had really good physical therapists.
Yeah.
And they go, here's your problem areas. You have this, but it's all related. So we need to work on everything to fix you, you know?
Really?
Yeah, and I'm doing these like weird little exercises in my neck now where you don't even know that you're exercising. Yeah, but it's like I'm lay on the floor and it's this tiniest of motion.
Right.
And after you do it a few days, you're like, oh, these are muscles that have never been worked. These tiny little
Right.
muscles in your neck that just hold your head in the right place. And I'm like, I never knew that I needed to exercise those.
I
to
thought
like,
they were just
yeah,
they
yeah.
just do their thing.
Yeah. So it's like, if you start really listening to your body and like finding the things that you need to do specifically,
Yeah.
it's amazing. Your body responds. It's amazing.
It's amazing too how we have these ideas of like, all right, I'm gonna start getting in shape. So I'm gonna need a gym that has all the machines and has all the
Right.
stuff, and I'm
Yeah,
gonna get
yeah.
a membership and get all this stuff.
Yeah.
And really, when
Yeah.
you haven't been doing it,
Yeah.
Lay on the floor.
Yeah.
And do 10 push-ups.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
then roll on your back and
Yeah.
do 10 sit-ups.
Yes.
And then do a plank.
Yes.
And that's it for the day.
Yeah.
Because you haven't been doing anything.
Yeah.
So even the slightest
Yes.
little thing
Yes.
is a lot.
Yes.
It really is a lot.
Yes. Yeah.
I just started doing 25 push-ups every day.
That's
just,
great.
Just to like start the day off.
Yeah.
And it was like, yeah, now I'm stronger.
Yeah.
Now you feel like you can do stuff.
Yeah.
Here's one thing I can't do though. I'll ask you if you can do it.
Yeah.
Can you do a pull-up?
I haven't tried to do a pull-up in a long time. I don't know if I think I'm cleared to do it now, but for a long time I couldn't. They were like, you can do everything except don't hang on stuff.
Oh.
But I think I could now. Now I could do it whatever I want, but I haven't tried.
I can hang, but I can't
Yeah.
then pull myself up.
It's
I
pull-ups
used to be able to do it, but that's
very
my
hard.
goal. That's my goal.
I haven't tried in a long time. I don't know if I can do a pull-up. I used to go
They're so
do
hard.
the counterweight pull-ups. Have you ever done that machine where it's like
where it, like, lifts
helps,
you?
it assists you, you know?
That would be good.
Yeah.
I would,
Yeah.
I really, I'm like, this is ridiculous. Because I'm not, I'm not weak. I can do all these other things.
It
Pretty
seems like
decent
you should
weight.
be able to
I
do
should
a
be
pull-up.
able to do a pull-up.
They're very hard.
They're very hard. Very hard.
I haven't tried in a long time.
I
don't
got
know.
this new bar put in my garage. That's why
Yeah?
it's happening.
Good.
And
That's
I'm
great.
like, that's
That's a good goal.
that is a good goal.
Yeah.
One pull-up by the end of the summer. And then I'll be ready to go.
That's a great goal. I was doing push-ups just every day for like 6 weeks before my accident. I don't know why. I just started doing a bunch of push-ups twice a day. And I think it really helped me recover.
Mhm.
Like, it just was like, just doing that made
Yeah.
me like, okay, you can get through this. Because just even having that little bit of muscle build.
The muscle build, was it a
Mhm.
mental thing too? Was it like
Maybe.
I'm getting stronger?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know, but physically it was just like it really helped me be strong enough to get through all that, I think.
Right.
I was lucky that it happened. I'm saying it to myself.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I was lucky that it happened when it did because I was in relatively decent shape when it happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God. If you get hit by a bus when you're a bag of bones,
Yeah.
you don't come back.
Yeah.
Right? So for our listeners, if you are going to get hit by a bus, make sure you work out first.
Time it.
Yeah. Get in good shape and then just wander into traffic and don't look
Oh
both
my
ways.
gosh. I can't. It's every once in a while I'll just have a moment where it's like, oh, that really happened.
Yeah.
I can't even think about it. It just makes me ill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you doing anything to change your luck? Are you carrying crystals around, or are you eating a lot of garlic? Or are you?
No, I don't really think like that. I don't know. I just, what am I doing?
It's just chaos.
I'm just trying to get back to where I was. Really, I just want
Yeah.
my life.
Well, you seem like
Yeah.
you seem like you are. I mean,
Yeah, I think it's
I mean, it's probably not 100%.
yeah,
And also, you feel vulnerable after those things.
yeah,
Do you ever just burst out crying on the streets of New York?
yeah. But I did that before.
Yeah. It's part of living in New York.
That makes me feel like I'm back.
Could you live? You know how during the pandemic, a lot of comedians blew up and just moved to Nashville,
Yeah.
up into the woods of New Hampshire or whatever.
Right.
Is there any place in the country other than New York that you could see yourself living?
Well, I'm from Idaho, I have some property in Idaho that I always kind of dream about building on and just like going back to.
Yeah,
It's beautiful. It's
Yeah.
gorgeous. And there's a lot I love about it.
yeah,
I think it would be pretty hard for me to do my job from a place like that. I need like a major airport.
mm-hmm,
I'm a guy who likes to work on stage a lot.
yeah,
I just can't do like my headlining sets and get the work done that I need to do for me.
I know. It feels
Some
so
people
different.
can, I think.
Can they?
I don't know. They seem to.
Yeah,
But I don't know. Everybody's process is different. But I see some people that I never see in the clubs, and then I
Mhm.
see them doing a theater an hour, and it's like, where did you do that?
right. How did you work on that?
Because I'm not like that.
Yeah,
I work it out in the club and then do
Right.
the hour.
mm-hmm,
I mean, I'm adding to the hour. So I think it would change the dynamic of what I do quite a bit if I wasn't in New York or LA.
Yeah. I feel the same way.
Yeah.
And, there's also that filter of being in New York and LA.
Yeah.
You can go out there and just keep doing your weekends and
Yeah.
create these longer sets.
Yeah.
But then you walk into the cellar or the comedy store, and all of a sudden there's a different judgment on your set.
Yeah.
There's
Yes.
okay,
Yes.
is this good enough? That was good enough to go fool the
Yes.
people in Davenport, but are the sophisticated audiences that really love and know comedy,
Yeah.
and can smell bullshit,
Yeah.
are they going to let all your stuff
Yeah.
that was working out there, are they going to approve of all that?
Yeah.
And you get a sense of it.
Yeah.
And that's why it's valuable,
Yeah.
because it ups the game.
Yeah. And you're following people. Like I'll watch
Right.
the person before me and go, whoa, I got to step it up.
Yeah. Mike Yard just
yeah.
just took the roof off with stuff I've never heard before.
Yeah. yeah.
Yeah.
And it's hard to manufacture that in yourself. Like you can't really just go on the road and be like, I'm going to push myself to do
Yeah.
this.
No, it's really
For me.
valuable. Let me ask you this too. Don't you think it's time? I'm so sick of hearing people say, I'm working on my new hour. I'm going to record my hour.
Yeah.
Everybody from, from Kevin Hart down to a guy at New York Comedy Club
Yeah.
is just, we're everybody. I'm just getting to a point where I'm like, why are we all saying and doing the same exact thing? Like what? How? Like, right? There has to be either another term or another.
That we're all working on our hour.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm sick of it.
Yeah.
And I feel like we're lemmings.
Yeah. I don't think about it. I mean, I do when I have to. When you're put to it, you're like, okay, I got to get a product out there. Do
Right.
I have an hour? Like, that's how I think about it. Like, do I have...
I would rather you say, even, I'm going to record my special.
Yes. Yes.
I'm working on my special.
Yes.
Or I'm working on my.
Yes. Because I know what you mean. It's like, it feels like we're just... it feels a little too like we're manufacturing this thing, like we're like
Yeah.
an assembly line. Boom, boom, hour, boom, hour, boom.
Right,
hour.
exactly.
Yeah,
And it's like, shouldn't we artistically be a little
Yeah.
different from each other?
right.
I mean, I know we're saying different things,
Yeah,
but this kind of robotic mantra of, I'm working on my hour, I'm working on my hour. Are you working on your hour? I just did my hour. I'm working on my hour. I'm putting my hour together. I'm going to shoot my hour. What? What is this, General Motors?
yes.
What's going on?
Yes, because you have to. I think about it as jokes. That's how I've always done it. And then I put all these jokes together, and I'm
Right.
like, how do I make this flow into a way that the laughs work? You know what
Yeah.
I mean? The dynamic of the laughs, where there's resting and there's a peak.
Yeah.
And it doesn't feel awkward. That's how I always put it together.
Right. Right.
So I'm just thinking about like, I have a new idea I want to work on, and then how do I stick it in somewhere? When
Yeah.
I do it on the road.
Maybe you should call it your cavalcade of comedy. I'm working on my cavalcade of comedy. I'm working on a feature film starring me playing myself telling jokes.
But
I'm working on my next film.
Yeah, well, that's kind of what we used to say, right? Like this idea of I'm working on my hours, like maybe in the last 10 years we started
Louis
saying-
did it.
Yeah, it was because Louis was doing an hour every year.
Yeah, and which was a blessing for comics, honestly. It was
Right.
we went from a group of people as comedians, as headliners, doing 45 minutes for 10 years straight, the same
Right.
exact act, to being more artistic and
Right.
putting out more. And he affected everybody down the chain.
Mm-hmm.
He did. He blew it up.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
then so he did what I'm saying we should be doing, which is going in a new direction or just calling it something different.
Right,
Or,
right.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
It's like saying, Kendrick Lamar put out a new album, so we're all going to copy Kendrick Lamar. Like we're all gonna, you know what I mean? It's a little too.
Yeah.
I mean, we're all different, but this thing of like,
Yeah.
what were you saying that we used to say it was different? We used to say,
Well, I think we didn't used to say, "Are you working on your album?"
Right.
We would just say, "What are you working on? Or you got a new bit? Or
are you shooting a special?
yeah, are you shooting a special maybe?"
Mm-hmm.
But even that was pretty more of a. I don't know if like. It's like everybody plans on shooting a special now. I don't know that 10, 15 years ago, it was like, oh, I heard you got a special. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
Now it's like, when are you shooting your special? It's just
And how are you doing it?
Yeah, it's just assumed that you will be.
You will be because you can.
Yeah.
Because it was similar to like making an album when I
Yeah.
started out.
Right.
It was like I remember walking around, and I'm always wrong on all this stuff, by the way. Let me
too.
be very clear. In all my bravado, I'm always very wrong about it. But what I used to walk around and say, everybody who started burning their own CDs, everybody who was able
Right.
to record an MP3,
Yeah.
and it was like. And I remember thinking, no, wait, you had to earn an album.
Right.
You had to be so good
Yeah.
that Warner Brothers would say you're
Yeah.
ready.
Right.
And I'm like, just because the technology's there doesn't mean you're
Yeah.
worthy of an album.
Right.
Well, I was wrong about that. I mean, and now it's the same thing with the specials. It's not Netflix or HBO doesn't have to come to you and say, we want your special.
Right.
That's great if they do.
Right.
But if they don't, you just get your cameras and shoot it and put it
Yeah.
on YouTube yourself.
Yeah.
So it is a thing.
Yeah.
And creatively, that's great.
Yeah.
That you don't have a gatekeeper.
Right.
That's all fine.
Right.
But how do you break away from the pack of that?
Yeah, I don't know. It's like you're asking a guy who's not. I'm the wrong guy to ask on that.
What do you mean?
I never feel like I'm the first guy to do the new thing. You know, I'm always like dragging my feet. Like I just want to
Tell
perform
jokes,
live.
Perform live.
And I'm
yeah.
always like, I have to do this. Now I have to. I don't have a TikTok account now. This is the thing that I'm dragging my feet on now. Okay, I guess. 3 years ago I said I'll never get a TikTok account. It's like the same thing over and over again. I'll never be on Instagram. And it's
You're
like,
right.
okay, now I'm going to get a TikTok. So I'm like the last guy always, you know?
Yeah, I know. We had that discussion actually when in San Diego. It was like we should make it like
Oh, right.
that we're physical trainers for each other.
Yes.
For
yeah.
social media.
Yeah.
Like you're not going to work out unless they're physical trainers waiting for you at the gym at 1:00. If it's on your own, you're going to skip.
Yeah.
But if you say, all right, have you posted on social media today?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, shit, I got to post or Ryan's going to
Yeah.
be mad at me.
Right.
But the problem is you wouldn't be mad at me.
I wouldn't even ask you because I don't want to get asked. I'd be like,
I don't want to do it either.
yeah. It's yeah. So I don't know. I'm the wrong guy.
Yeah. Well, I just feel like I don't want to say I'm working on my hour ever again.
That's fine. I think you don't have to.
I'm working on a new film.
Yeah.
If you just said that, I'm getting ready to shoot my next film.
Yeah.
What?
Wow.
What are you doing? Yeah, I'm doing a film. What is it? Oh, it's called
Yeah.
Water Bottles or Death. Wow. What? And you wrote it? Yeah, I wrote the whole thing.
Yeah.
And you're in it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm starring in it. And who's it for? It's for Netflix. Really? Oh, okay. And then
Yeah.
is it? What?
Yeah.
No, it's just me telling jokes. It's me on stage at this theater, and I'm going to be filming it. Oh, you're talking about an hour? No, I don't know. Maybe it's no. I think it's longer than that. But it's just my film. That sounds kind of cool.
Yeah.
I remember when Jackie Mason went to Broadway.
Mm-hmm.
I remember I was way before I did comedy, but I remember hearing that he was taking his stand-up show and he put it on Broadway, and it made it more special.
Right.
It just
Right.
made it,
Yeah.
and it was the same thing,
Right.
but it just had a cool logo and
Yeah.
went up and did it, and it was like I remember thinking that, like, oh, he just decided that what he was doing was worth more
Right.
than the guy that was going down to the Tropicana and headlining for the weekend. You know what I mean? He
Yeah.
made that decision himself.
Yeah. I guess that's true.
Yeah.
It's
If you were to shoot your next film, your next stand-up film,
Mm-hmm.
which I'm sure is what Pryor called it.
Probably, but it was actually like shown in movie theaters, I
Yeah.
think, and stuff.
Yeah.
So it felt more like a film. It
Right.
was like we didn't know the difference yet. It was like this is just a thing
Yeah.
we're doing.
Yeah, and if you can call a movie on streaming on Netflix a movie,
Yeah.
I can call my special a movie.
Yeah.
If you were to name your next movie
Mm-hmm.
right now, where your set is, what would be the working title?
The name of it? Oh, I have a name. My first special was called Happy Face,
Uh-huh.
and I had this idea. I don't know if this is a good idea. Tell me if you think, to name the next one Happy Place.
Happy Place.
It's like a companion piece,
nice.
and because I think we're all kind of thinking about place more and where we are, and our lives have become more a little bit smaller, and more the place we are is more important.
Right.
And I just like that idea.
I love that idea.
And I have some jokes that kind of go along with it. It's so weird because this is the first time I've ever I have this title I really like, but I don't know how to make. So I'm
Right.
like writing towards the title in a way. But I also like
that's
the,
okay. It's like a theme in a way.
Yeah, I like the idea of it.
I do too.
So I've been working on that.
And to keep it subtle, to not land too heavy on it.
Yeah,
Like, because you could name the set that I saw a couple weeks ago that
yeah,
easily.
yeah, yeah.
And it's kind of more thought-provoking to have the audience
yeah.
fill in the blanks there.
Yes, that could happen too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would like to say Happy Place once somewhere,
Yeah.
just as a kind of an off thing
Oh, you mean in the set?
in the set. I like
Uh-huh.
those moments where there's like, oh, there's the title.
Oh, yeah.
You ever see that? You're
Yeah,
just
yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, there's the title.
I always go back and forth with it.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
do I want to call it out or
Yeah.
not call it out?
Yeah.
I was talking
Yeah.
to Patton Oswalt, and he's opposed to it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was like, he doesn't like when you go along and then it's like Gerbil House, and you're like,
Okay.
oh, that's why it's called Gerbil House.
Right.
He likes it to not be related
Uh-huh.
at all.
Yeah. It depends on how heavy-handed it is.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
It's like sometimes it's subtle enough where I enjoy it.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
I
it's
don't think there's anything wrong with either direction,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
But yeah, I always like that.
Yeah.
Just when you'd
like-
spot it.
It's like a little Easter egg or something.
Right,
Just
right,
like,
right.
There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. That would be really good. Happy Face.
I'm
and
glad
Happy
you like
Place.
it.
Yeah.
I haven't really asked anyone about it, but I just had that idea, and I was like, I like the idea of building a body of work, kind of
Yeah.
like it's related to the last thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like there's some continuity to it.
Yes. Exactly. Yeah. Because
Yeah.
now, dare I say, you're creating a body of work.
Right. A body of work. So that's my idea for, I don't know.
I like it. So now that you had the blueberry croissant,
Yeah.
will you have lunch?
I don't know. Do you want to get lunch?
I can't. I have to do my Sirius XM show right
Oh,
after
okay.
this. And then I got to go do that other
I was
podcast.
thinking I might go to the cellar and work because I never go sit in the olive tree, and every once in a while people go there with their
I
laptop.
love that.
And
I
just
did that
work.
when I lived here. I did that almost every day.
Yeah, I might go do that and grab some food.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Well, if you're there at around 3:30, if you're still around,
Okay.
I'll roll in.
Yeah, I don't know.
That'll
what,
be a ways away.
I don't know what time it is. I'm in a time warp right now.
It's 1:15.
1:15.
We really have to stop,
Do we? Okay.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
This was great.
This was really fun.
Yeah. So you shouldn't be afraid of podcasts. Well,
In
you
my-
shouldn't do other people's. You should just keep doing mine.
Oh, well, I like talking to you. That's the thing about it. It's like, who am I talking with? And even now, the whole time I'm doing this podcast, I'm worried about the subway story. I'm like, what did I say? That's just who I am. I have anxiety.
You're going to offend either the tourist or the guy who's been tased 7 times.
Yeah.
Yeah. I doubt. I mean, look, this is a popular podcast, but I doubt they're listening.
No, I know they're not listening, but it's just, I don't know. Oh,
You're in a safe space, and you're a good person. You have to consider the source. So
Well.
anything that you said on here is I think was totally appropriate,
okay.
except for that you didn't share any of the croissants. But
I-
that's, people have different ways of sharing food. And some people's way of sharing food is not sharing it.
That's my way.
Yeah.
But I offered it to you. I mean, you bought them for me.
They're for you. And I have a bag here so you can take the other ones home.
Wow, they're so good. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And when you come to LA, I'll bake for you.
I would love that. I don't think I've ever had any of your bread.
You haven't. When you came to my house for dinner that time
Oh, maybe we
in
did.
LA, no, it was before bread.
Yeah, that's right. We had some good food, I remember.
Yeah. I remember, I forget what I made. It was years ago.
It was good.
But that's when I was just cooking. Now we throw the bread into it. Forget it. And biscotti. Do you know my new nickname is Tommy Biscotti?
No,
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, it's starting to catch.
Is that going to be the name of your new hour?
You're the worst. All right, Ryan. Good seeing you.
Good to see you, too.
Thank you, Nicole.
You're welcome.
There you have it, everybody. Ryan Hamilton. I told you it was a good story. Who has a story like that? A lot of people say they were hit by a bus, but you don't hear it very often. The great Ryan Hamilton. I hope you enjoyed it. Go to tompapa.com. I'm doing a series of clubs. This weekend I will be at Brea Improv, and then I'm going to Wise Guys in Salt Lake City and Tempe Improv and the House of Blues in Honolulu, Hawaii. Doing a bunch of sets because I will be recording my stand-up special at the Wilbur Theater, my next Netflix special. I'm doing it at the Wilbur Theater on October 1st. And if you want to come see it and be a part of it, there's at the release of this, there will be a pre-sale. The code is PAPA, and you can get in on that. We're going to be doing 2 shows at the Wilbur Theater on October 1st, all the taping for the next Netflix special. Very exciting. I hope to see you there. Go to tompapa.com for all the rest. And that's it, kids. We'll see you next week.